And thank you very much. Welcome, everybody, and thank you very much for joining us today. Topic for today, navigating CPG challenges via strategic partners. We've got a number of primary care practices from around the country joining us on the webinar, so thank you all very much for taking the time to jump on today. For those of you who I haven't spoken with before, my name's Liam. I started RxTro around 10 years ago. An online platform designed to facilitate the industry with their interactions with primary care. Some exciting updates today, really focused on how we adjust the platform to really meet the needs of the doctors. For those of you who haven't been on a webinar with Zoom before, you'll notice there's a little Q&A button down the bottom. Please just ask questions as we go, and we'll jump in and talk these through as we do. I'm just going to share my screen now and we'll jump into things. Fantastic. For those of you who are already using RxTro, you'll be across exactly what RxTro is and how it works. But for those of you who might be new to RxTro, essentially it's an online platform. So the clinics create an account and also the trade and industry suppliers create an account. On one side, the clinics will set up their preferences, so they'll nominate the times that they're happy to make available, and then the trade and industry can book in exactly according to those preferences. So really, at core, what it's about is obviously connecting primary care with the widest variety of industry suppliers, and fundamentally through these conversations to deliver better patient care. RxTro's around 3,000 strong in terms of industry suppliers, and one of the big things with it is there's a very diverse group of people that are on the system. What we see is we've got all of the reps from the major pharmaceutical companies, but we also have a lot of local specialists that are on there and using the system when they're first starting out in private practice, in order to get out and network with the local GPs to obviously raise their awareness and obviously raise their awareness of new treatment options. All of the major pathology and radiology providers are on there as well, and there's actually a significant contingent of allied health providers. In terms of the system, it's a very diverse group, and what we sort of see on both sides is that the way they approach things is a little bit different. So what we're looking to do is essentially change the system slightly so that we can really prioritize the high value educational activities, because when we sort of get out and talk to GPs, this is certainly what we see that is highly valued. In terms of high value educational activities, what I'm referring to is the CPD framework. So obviously, every registered practitioner in the country needs to undertake 50 hours of CPD each year. And what the survey findings are consistently showing is there's a large group of doctors that are out there that are struggling to achieve this on an ongoing basis. It's more prevalent in regional and rural areas, and really sort of when we dig into the detail, it's a function of the fact that finding 50 hours in a busy primary care environment is often quite difficult when there's so much on and so forth. We are giving away 5 GPCE tickets today. They're valued at $1,000 each. We'll draw this at the end, but the thing with it is this is really symbolic of the way a lot of doctors are achieving their CPD points at the moment. Essentially, it's giving up a weekend. So GPCE in Sydney runs from Friday the 24th of May to Sunday the 26th of May. It's a case of giving up the weekend, putting money in your own pocket, taking money out of your own pocket in order to obviously attend these things in your own hours. What we're looking to do today with RxTro is really segment the system, because across the variety of industry suppliers, we have a large group of people that are in a position to prioritise high quality educational content aligned with the CPD programs, and other people who are obviously working with the branded product promotion. By doing this, what it means is that Essentially, we have on one side of the system people with high quality educational content that are often having to compete with the branded product promotion in order to get an appointment. So they're often looking at 3 to 6 months prior to be able to coming in. And essentially, what we also see is that on the other side, it's often the doctors that would really get a lot of benefit from having these CPD activities happening in the surgery at no cost to them during their time. In terms of the way the RxTro system works, one of the changes that we put in a little while ago is that we grouped all the users up according to their categories. So we broke things out into pharmaceutical reps, specialist services, medicinal cannabis providers, and so forth. And you're 100% in control of exactly how you manage this. So you can obviously deselect. There's some situations where people have things like on-site physio, so they want to deselect that particular category of allied health, and that's entirely up to you. What we're launching today is the new category called activity provider, or CPD, and we're putting the trade and industry people through a rigorous process to ensure that it meets the criteria according to the medical board. And really what this is looking at is, how do we understand what is high quality educational content that your doctors really want to hear more of, and what is branded product promotion. So essentially the questions that we go through with these people in order to put them into this category is essentially aligned to the registration, the CPD registration standard as published by the medical board. So essentially what you'll see over the next little while, we're working with all the industry suppliers at the moment to put them through this questionnaire. These details will appear next to their profile. So prior to when their meeting's booked in, not only will you have the contact person, but you'll actually have the planned activity that is planned to be delivered. So you'll have details as I go through. You'll understand firstly if it's an accredited activity or if it's not an accredited activity. With the non-accredited activities, what this will mean is that your doctors will need to self-report this to their CPD home. RxTro will maintain a record of all of these activities for you. So essentially, when the doctor attends an appointment, it'll be listed there that on this particular day, this is the activity that was completed, these were the learning outcomes, and this was the delivery mode. Each supplier is required to satisfy how many hours the activity is expected to produce and the goal of the activity according to the 3 pillars of educational activities, measuring objectives, and reviewing performance. They'll describe the need for the activity. So the need, the learning goals that are aimed to be achieved through the learning activity, and how it's designed to achieve those learning goals, and the feedback mechanisms that they've got in place to understand that those learning goals were achieved. Once the supplier completes this form, this will be submitted through to RxTro. We have a QA team that will go through and make sure that it does align correctly with the framework. And once they're in that category, they'll be moved into that CPD category, or providers of high quality education that your doctors can use to report as part of their registration requirements. The next stage with this is essentially on the clinics to allocate time for this. So in the system, you can actually decide what time you want to make available, but importantly, who you want to make that available to. So you'll see that there's options for what type of meeting. Is this a group-based meeting or is this an individual meeting? What type of user would you like to be able to book? And this aligns with the categories that I just walked through. So the allied health, the CPD providers, specialist services, and so forth. How often would you like the meeting to occur? And that's completely flexible. You can do it every day of the week. You can do it the last Friday of the month. And finally, if you'd like to approve each and every single booking prior, or if you are happy just to make it available for the reps and so forth to come in. There's a really big difference between time that's dedicated for CPD activities and time that may have been traditionally dedicated for specialist meet and greets and so forth. The big thing with CPD activities, because it is being reported as a development opportunity, the big thing with it is that all participants need to agree to attend at the start and attend for the full amount of time that's made available. There's also, as I say, a feedback loop at the end where doctors will be asked to complete an evaluation to understand if the learning objectives were achieved. So what we've sort of seen with a lot of practices is the traditional sort of meet and greets that have been made available may stay the same, but there might be an additional opportunity set up. It might be a breakfast thing before everybody starts on the last Friday of each month, or so forth. So what this does is basically it means that instead of doctors needing to travel, and sometimes we're attending GPCE this weekend, and I can tell you there'll be doctors there that have travelled quite some distance in order to attend. Instead of them needing to travel, they can actually meet these registration requirements with activities that are delivered in their surgery. It means that it's a real win-win for both sides of the platform as well, because fundamentally what we're doing is we're separating out the time that surgeries are prepared to allocate to meet and greets and to obviously general sort of brand updates, and really the time that from the providers of high quality educational content. And what I mean by that is the people who have identified the need, have structured the learning outcomes, and obviously done an evaluation afterwards to really understand what was intended in the delivery of the content really was achieved. It's completely up to you how many times or how much time you want to make available for these workshops. So you can schedule once a week if that's what your doctors are looking to achieve, or obviously you can schedule them less frequently. What I would say is that there are 50 hours that are required in a particular year. So if you are going to look at sort of doing them less frequently than once a week, you might want to be doing them for a little bit longer each time, just so that obviously that benchmark can be met. The best part about this as well is that what we're talking about is CPD activities that are in a surgery delivered to your doctors at no cost to them. And it's often going to be delivered by probably a local specialist that's in the area that they'll probably be actively working together with patients. So what it's aimed at doing is really facilitating those referral networks a lot better, providing an opportunity for obviously the local specialists to meet the GPs and also the other way around. And at the end of the day, driving better opportunities with patient care. The final part with the system is that all of this will be available in a searchable directory for you guys. In terms of the way the doctors work, at the start of the year, they'll come up with their professional development plan. And often there might be a scenario where through what's come in automatically, there might be a scenario where there was no topics that aligned to the specific development plan that the doctor was looking to achieve. So what this will do is give you the opportunity to obviously jump onto the system, search through the system, potentially find on-demand activities that are aligned to that development plan, and potentially even sort of invite somebody in, nominating them as a time into the appointment. So what are the next steps? So essentially, in terms of the system, the next steps are really to have a conversation amongst your practice and just understand the challenges within your practice with the doctors around achieving the CPD. If this is something that at the moment the doctors are spending their own money and their own time going out in order to achieve, and you'd like to have it delivered in surgery at no cost, fundamentally, what you can do is obviously log on to RxTro and basically allocate another appointment slot, or even replace one of the existing times that you've allocated specifically to this high quality education. As I say, over the next few weeks, we're working with a lot of the suppliers. You'll start to see this list really populate. And then once you've done that, the people can book in, and obviously you can start to have these CPD-based activities occurring in surgery. We're going through the process at the moment to reaching out to all of the practices that use RxTro as well to make them aware of this feature, answer any questions that people have got, and then just get people set up and really achieve better outcomes. At that point, I thought it was worthwhile opening up to questions. We've had one question come in already, which is a fantastic one, which would be, are we sending a recording of this? And the answer is yes, absolutely. So after the call, what you'll see is there'll be an email that'll come through this afternoon that'll have a recording. As you can see, it's nice, short, sharp, and snappy. So you can obviously circulate that amongst any of the other stakeholders within your practice. Fantastic. There has been another question come in just around the accreditation and will all of the providers be accredited providers? So one of the big things to understand about accreditation, so what accreditation fundamentally is doing, it's a rubber stamp in order for the provider to update directly with the CPD home the fact that the content has been delivered. It's usually only a component of what the doctors are submitting. The other component is often a lot of self-reported activities. So there will be providers who are accredited providers and can obviously do that administrative piece for the doctor automatically. But fundamentally, for the self-submitted component, this is where really RxTro can keep a record for your doctors of exactly who attended, what the learning outcomes were, what the evaluation is, so forth. Fantastic. Excellent. So there's just been a couple of other questions come in. There's actually a question that unrelated to CPD events, which is absolutely fine. But essentially, like to use the system, obviously, just to organise general trade visits to pharmaceutical reps and so forth. So absolutely. One of the big things, so RxTro is a free service for clinics, so it's made available, doesn't cost the practice anything. View being that at the end of the day, you guys are allocating time in your surgery for trade and industry events, and we're all very conscious that time equals money in the business of medicine. So we don't charge you for the system. Essentially, all you do is log on and create an account, set up who it is that's in the medical centres, and then essentially you can make time available on a general basis. So you can make it available to pharmaceutical reps. One of the big things when you're first getting set up, often what we see is that practices will have existing bookings that are booked in. Our support team is there to assist you in getting all of that transferred into the system. So if it's paper-based or if it's Excel or whatever, reach out to us. That's exactly what we're here for. So fantastic. Excellent, excellent. I think that seems to have tied up most of the questions. So look, hopefully what that means is that everybody understands it really crystal clearly, and essentially it's obviously makes complete sense. As I say, what we'll be doing after this call is sending out the recording of the webinar. We'll also be reaching out to existing RxTro users just to make sure that they're aware of this functionality and how to set it up and get the most out of it. So please look out for an email from us or a call from us very, very soon. And in the interim, if there's any challenges or problems, please don't hesitate to get in contact. Thanks very much to everybody for jumping on. We'll speak to you all soon. Hello, everybody. Apologies. Very embarrassing, but we forgot to draw the GPCE tickets. So doing the live draw now, and we'll communicate this to people afterwards. Just share my screen. So as you can see, we've got the wheel set up. So we've got 5 tickets to give away. And the first person off the draw is Maria. Well done, Maria, and congratulations.
And the second ticket is Michael. Well done, Michael. Congratulations. We'll definitely send this out to you afterwards. Fantastic. And congratulations to Warner Calasaria. Fantastic. John, congratulations. You're winner of ticket number 4. Thank you, everybody, once again for attending, and we'll speak to you soon.